tonight, and we've added a special meeting agenda to the beginning of tonight's gathering. So we'll start with the special meeting. We'll make note that the first two items that are shown on our agenda will not be dealt with tonight, and so we'll begin our special meeting wait a minute. Where's the piece on the appraisal? C.
C.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. We'll begin our special meeting with item C as listed on the agenda, which is the consideration of updated appraisal of land and building at 119 West Water Street. Anne Marie is going to fill us in with some details relative to that item. In simplest terms, it came about relative to the fact that when we put out requests for proposal to sell this building behind us, we used one footprint, and then when we had it appraised later in the process, we realized that there was a larger footprint that goes with this property if this council chooses to sell the entire piece. So in the best interest of the process, as we've come this far for so long, we're going to consider getting an appraisal or a fresh appraisal on the property due to the passage of time that it's taken to reach this point. So with that introduction, I'll turn it over to you, Anne Marie, please.
Okay, Mayor, thank you. And that is correct. The appraisal that was done in November of 2014 used a survey that depicted property and building that sat on 0.27 acres of land. And so that was what the appraised value was based on. And as Mayor said, subsequently, about, back in 2016, I believe, May 2016, we learned that there was actually a bigger parcel of land that was not encumbered by the grant that was used to purchase the greater park area. And that area that can be sold, that's not encumbered, equates to 0.34 acres of land. And so it is my recommendation that the council consider asking the appraiser to update or do a new appraisal, and actually give you all two choices. One would be with the 0.34 acre tract, and that is the square tract. It's labeled as map B. That's in your packet. And I did not include in your packet a modification or sort of a hybrid map of what you have in your packet of map A and B, which is a map that would create 0.27 acres of land based on the original appraisal, but the footprint would be a bit different. It would allow for the outdoor dining piece, and also would provide a little bit more space on the east side of the property than what was depicted in the original map A. I've spoken with the appraiser, Andy Piner, out of Greenville, and he indicated that he could have an appraisal to you by January 5th, and that would give you several days, almost a week, to review it prior to the regular meeting in January.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. With that bit of information, we'll get to the matter, and that is consideration of the update
I'm
Yes.
sorry, I failed to mention one thing too, that when the original appraisal was done, a use had not been identified, and so the appraisal was based on the prior use, which was an office building. And so now that a use has been identified, I think you would want the appraiser to look at that use as well as, and more importantly, are the covenants, the 18 covenants. So we would share that information with the appraiser as well.
Okay, council members, we can discuss this openly now, or I would be happy to take a motion to initiate the updated appraisal as presented here on the agenda tonight, and we can discuss it during that time.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion to consider the updated appraisal of the land and the building. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Okay. Questions, comments, please.
I guess one of my questions would be if we're going to, if in fact we've got to go ahead and have another appraisal done, is why do we not put it out for another RFP?
We solicit quotes from appraisers like we did the first time.
I mean, I would think if you got to go through this, you might as well go through it and, I mean,
As it pertains to the appraisal.
exactly, yes, sir.
If we don't have to, I think it's drug on so long. It's been 3 years or 2.5, whatever it is. I'm ready to get it wrapped up.
Well, I don't think anybody sitting up here is not ready to get it wrapped up, but the reason that we're doing this tonight is so that we get it right.
I don't know what that's required at all.
According to our attorney, we need to get it right.
Yeah.
And whether it's required or not, I just think if you're going to be totally 100% transparent, the easiest way to do it is put it out for bids.
I hear what you're saying. To me, I don't know, it sounds almost redundant in a way. We have all the information, the appraiser has all the information. It would be a matter, it's a certified appraiser, it would be a matter of just updating the value of time since this was done, if any, and also to factor in that extra square footage on the property, in case the council decides that that should be part of the consideration as well. Personally, on that particular subject, I would like to see the whole .34 included as a separate or an expanded appraisal to the original, because that's the way the feds set it aside when the property was made available and not part of the park.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and beat this horse by any means because I'm like everyone else. I'd love for it to be over. I'll never agree to sell the building. I think it's a terrible mistake, but I still think if we're going to be transparent to everyone and to do it, yeah, I mean, we've come this far, and I'm sure we can find other appraisers that can come in and give us a price on doing it. Maybe this guy will be the least expensive and better qualified, and we'll just rock and roll with him, and it won't take that much longer. But I mean, I honestly think that if we've got to do it, and we need to do it right, let's throw it out there and do it right. But one man's opinion.
Other thoughts? Anybody have any other thoughts?
I just want to make sure I understand Councilman Biggs' comment. You're suggesting a total new RFP on the building. Is that right?
That includes whatever it's supposed to include that we didn't put in last time, and yes, sir.
But it would be at the new appraised price, of course, I assume.
Sure.
Now, wait a minute, I'm hearing something different. You talking
That's
about
why I'm talking.
RFP for the sale of the building? We're talking about reappraising, we're not.
Okay, that's
Just
why I'm
reappraising.
asking.
Yeah.
I want to make sure what he is talking about. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's why
RFP
I'm asking.
for reappraisal, and send it out to ever how many commercial appraisers are.
Okay, thank you. I just want to clarify that.
And I feel like it's just a recertification of what we've already got, and we don't, it's just an update, and we don't need to do that.
What's the harm in it?
Too much time. It's just this thing, I think the people are ready to get this.
We've
thing done.
already spent 2.5 years on it. What's a few more months to do?
I think that people are ready to have this come to Edenton.
People might be ready, but we want to make sure that it's done right, right?
Well, let me interject a thought there. I don't think we need to be using whether it's right or not, because this is a certified appraiser licensed to do commercial appraisals. So, as Steve just suggested, he may be right. I mean, but if you want to open it up and have other appraisers look at the property and put a value on it, then that's what we're talking about.
How did we arrive at the appraiser that we used before? How was that arrived at? Did we put it out on bids at that time?
We did. We asked for proposals from appraisers, and I don't have the file with me, but I believe we got either 2 or 3 proposals, and Mr. Piner was, they all were, certified and qualified, and his fee, and I believe also the time in which it would take him to do the report led you all to contract with him.
And Hood didn't tell you we needed to rebid it.
No, well, I didn't ask him that question, but he said we needed to update the appraisal.
All right.
He said we needed to update the appraisal.
Yeah, that's the whole consideration point that we're evaluating here now has to do with getting a fresh appraisal from the appraiser. That's the way it's being proposed in this motion. Is that right?
That's correct.
So we're asking the appraiser who did the original appraiser to go back and factor in the passage of time and the additional square footage of property and come up with a new valuation if there is one. Plus the covenants. The covenants in effect could drive the price down because there are 18 of them. And so that's going to be an interesting outcome as well, in my opinion. But anyway, that's where we are. All right, here's my question procedurally. I need some help on this. If we reach a point here in this discussion on the consideration due to the fact that Councilman Biggs has recommended that we put it out, we call a vote on the motion as it was presented, right? And if that passes, then we go with the original appraisal. If it doesn't pass, it doesn't kill the project, right?
Yep. I'm not following exactly what you're saying. I apologize for that.
Now, I mean, we're considering an updated appraisal. And if the motion is such, and that's why I asked Sambo for that clarification, is if the motion is such that the updated appraisal is done by the person who made the original, that's what we're gonna be voting on. But if that motion fails, then another motion would need to be called for to open it up for the whole appraisal universe to bring in bids to take a look at it.
And Mayor, I'm glad you asked that question procedurally, because that would be a new motion that is not listed on the special meeting agenda. And your guidelines, and I believe the way that the statutes are written, you're not allowed to add new items of business on a special meeting agenda. You're only supposed to take action on items that were listed on the agenda. That's my recollection of,
That makes sense to me, because if we do this and it goes down and there's no subsequent motion to have any kind of appraisal update done, then we don't make any progress. We don't go anywhere.
right, well, you would have to have that item under new business at your December
At this-
regular meeting.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that would just be particular to this
Yes,
meeting?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
And the reason, I think the reason behind that law or rule is to prevent, and you know, it's not a good example here tonight, but if somebody were to, if a council member were to be absent, if they looked at the agenda and said, you know what, this doesn't really look like a lot of important issues, and I have this other matter, and I'm not gonna come to the meeting, I have to be somewhere else, but then lo and behold, something, you know, very important gets added to the agenda, you know, that's not fair. But you all know at regular meetings, you are allowed to add items to the agenda, but you're not allowed to add items to special meeting agenda.
Okay. I'm inclined to agree with that from my poor recollection of things I've read in the past, but
The new councilmen will learn that at this new school, at the school for newly elected officials, I'm sure.
okay, so we're still in discussion on the original motion, which is to do an updated appraisal, which we've now further defined would come from, in this motion, Piner and his group, right? Okay, any further discussion on the motion? Okay.
Yeah, further discussion. I don't normally do this. I am going to ask you to please vote this down. This is not right. I don't, you can sit here and tell me that, you know, this guy's certified. I agree he is certified. 100% I agree. But if we're going to go through this process and we have, what is 10 more days to wait for our next meeting, or 12 more days, or whatever it is, to wait for our next meeting and do this right? I'm sorry, but I'm just asking you to vote no. And if you don't, I totally understand, believe me. But thank you. I'm through. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Any further questions or comments? Okay. Yeah.
I'm concerned with it myself. When we first talked about the appraisal, I was opposed to the appraisal because I made the point that the appraisal will come back as it did, as bricks and mortar, which is exactly what it did. It did not take into consideration the location. And I was sitting here thinking that would be a good thing to be added to it, but we can't add anything to the, as I understand, I'm understanding that we can't make any addendums or additions or changes to the appraisal as it's listed. I was just having am I saying that correct?
You
I
could,
don't understand what you're saying. at all. I don't have any idea what you're saying, what that means.
Well, I'm just trying to respond to exactly what our manager said, that we can't make a change to the motion or to the original, what is on the list.
Well, what I was responding to, it wouldn't be a change, it would be a new motion to solicit appraisals. That was not listed on the agenda, to solicit appraisals. So,
And really, the motion, I mean, that would be to solicit different appraisers, not appraisals. I mean, it would be looking for another appraiser instead of the appraiser we got who's already done the building. I mean, you know, this is just whether or not we go ahead and vote to get the person that did the appraisal to update it. That's what it seems like to me. Not whether or not they're going to change values. I mean, that's up to them, not us. I mean, it might come back high, it might come back low. We don't really know. But that's their job, not ours.
Any further questions?
We have used every kind of delay tactic there is available to man. And by the way, my ghostwriter didn't write me any speeches tonight, but I'm gonna say it anyway. We're delayed. The building has been sitting vacant for 2.5 to 3 years. And we all know that building is not gaining in value sitting there going down. We all know that any building that's sitting there unoccupied for 2.5 years, it cannot be gaining value. It can only be deteriorating. And we have come up with every delay tactic there is available to man.
Can I respond to that?
Sure.
It's not a delayed tactic, Jimmy. It's just trying to see if you can get a higher price for your property. That's waterfront property, prime property.
Nobody's argued that point.
That's a big building.
Nobody's argued that point.
Maybe a new appraisal, complete appraisal, will give you more money. Is anybody objected to the town getting more money for the building?
Well,
It's not delayed. We've already said that the building is going to be sold.
But I don't think that's what this motion's about. Because I mean, the appraiser's going to set the value. He may go up or down, but this is about whether to have to put out bids to have either this appraiser or some other appraiser do it. It's not about whether the appraiser's going to be higher or lower. This guy is a certified appraiser. He's going to make that determination. It might have gone up over the 3 years we've been talking about it. It might have gone down, but I mean, that's what the appraiser's for. It's not like we got one price, never going to look for another appraiser. They'll just come in and say, I'll charge $1,000 to do it, or I'll charge $1,100, then we pick. I mean, it's not a situation where we're picking whether somebody's going to have a higher value. That's their job. We can't do that. We don't know what that is. I agree with Jimmy. I think we've done, this is
I'm not saying,
and
that.
the young people in this community want this to happen soon rather than later. I'm telling you, they're ready for it. It's industry. It brings people in. It's it's jobs, all of that, and the people in this community are ready for it.
We're only talking about 6 jobs, so what's that going to hurt us to throw it out there and get an appraisal? We do it on everything else.
Well,
What's different about this?
I don't think that what we're doing here really, there's no way a new appraiser is going to do it more cheaply. This is about how much the appraisal costs. This isn't about how much the building costs. That's the issue. It's not, this is what, it's not, it's just putting out a new spec to see who's going to bid on it, and my bet is the guy that's already done it is going to just update it, and that's going to have to be less.
Well, let's keep the land that we're trying to appraise and just let it go as it is then.
Well, I mean, I think that we'll have both those choices. When he's going to look at it and appraise it in both ways, what it is and what it, the 2.7 and the 3.5. He's going to look at both of those and appraise and tell us what it's worth. Isn't that right? They're going to give us both values, then we choose. We're not making that choice tonight either. You know, because I mean, I think there's some, you know.
If we hire new appraisers, okay, we go out, we put it out on bids, and they're gonna give you a bid, and this is a question, okay? The new appraisers are gonna come in and they're gonna give you a bid on what they're gonna charge you to do the new appraisal. The old appraiser, the one that did the previous one, is he just gonna charge you an amount for updating that, or is he gonna charge you a price for completely doing a renewal, a new appraisal?
I would think if we went out for proposals, that he would submit a proposal for a new appraisal.
For an entirely new
Entirely new
appraisal?
appraisal. He would have to respond to the proposal that we solicit.
Which will probably be higher than sort of a redo.
How much did we pay for the last appraisal?
$2,000.
Let me ask a question. This, Elizabeth, you may let her answer this, but this building as it now sits waiting for action has also been limited to the use of a brewery, has it not? Brew pub? Is it still open to any use in the table?
If someone else were to purchase it, is that what you mean?
No, yeah, if someone else were to purchase it,
You mean, how will the appraiser consider the use of the
yeah, because it was
property?
considered as an office building in the beginning.
If
So
they are,
that's changed. It's now going to be considered as a
right,
brew pub because this council has put that into the deliberations over time. So that's the way it's defined now for future use, unless somebody else comes along about it.
that's
Is
correct.
that correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, two things here, since there's been other discussion. Number one, you're right, that building has been sitting there 2.5 years or longer. The reason that building's been sitting there 2.5 years or longer is our fault. We have not been marketing that building to do anything else with it. From day one that we were told that a brewery would come, that's pretty much all it's been marketed to is this one person. So, you know, you're right, it's sitting there, we've done nothing with it. So that's our delay, all of us. Number two, the reason we're sitting here tonight, as Councilman Dixon brought up a while ago, the people of this town want this, but there was a lot of people in this town that saw fault in what the appraiser had done before. That's the reason we're sitting here tonight, was they brought up the issue, and they brought it to Anne Marie's attention. She brought it to Hood's attention, and he said, you need to do this. So both of these issues tonight that you have brought up and the one that Sambo just brought, the building is our fault that we hadn't marketed, and the reason we're here is because the people of Edenton want us to be here doing what we're supposed to be doing.
We could argue that point, but I won't.
All right, does anybody have anything further to say? We have an active motion with a second on the table. Okay, hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no.
No.
Could I see a show of hands, please, on the ayes? Okay, and on the noes?
I recuse.
No vote when you're present is an aye.
Bob,
Can't do.
I just want to make sure you understand that if you don't vote, your vote gets recorded as aye. Is that what you
Yeah.
want? Okay. So Mayor, that would make it 3 in favor and 3 opposed?
Correct. And the chair votes in favor of the motion.
I just want to
Who
make
were
sure
the-
everybody understands.
Who were the three?
That voted. in-
I'd like to see a show of hands again then, Mayor,
Okay.
for the aye votes.
Aye votes?
2, but then Bob is not voting? He said he recuses himself or he's abstaining?
That's right.
So that vote gets recorded as a
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Correct.
And Mayor, so you get to break the tie?
I just did.
Okay.
I voted in favor of the motion.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
we will call the Pioneer Group and ask them to bring you an updated appraisal, then we'll have further discussion on which course you want to follow after that. Okay, the final item on our special meeting agenda tonight is a capital project ordinance upgrades to the water treatment plant. Anne Marie, please, ma'am.
Yes, Mayor, and tonight we're presenting to you the capital project ordinance for the upgrades to the two water treatment plants. And the revenue from this, for these upgrades, as you know, will come from a $1.1 million grant from USDA Rural Development, and then also from a $2.6 million USDA loan. So the total revenue in the capital project ordinance is $3,756,197. And on the expense side, you see the various categories of the expenses that are needed to carry out the upgrades, and that includes the engineering services, and then construction inspection services, surveying and as-built drawings, legal services, bond counsel fees, interest for the interim financing, a contingency line item, and then the construction is estimated to be $2,920,000. And we ask that you approve this ordinance as presented.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody care to put that in the form of a motion?
I'll do that.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to proceed with the capital project ordinance upgrade to the water treatment plant as described. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, no? All right, that motion carries. Thank you very much. And now we'll roll into our scheduled committee meetings for tonight, beginning with administrative chaired by Councilman Biggs, please, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. We only have 3 items tonight. The pay and classification study proposal is in the packet, or in your packet. We had 2 companies. One of them is the MAPS Group. The other is Mercer Group, and as Anne Marie noted in her management report, that Tammy is not with us tonight, but she will be with us on December the 12th. And if it's okay with the administrative committee, I will let her give an update. You saw the numbers to do this study. With MAPS Group, it was $11,076, and with Mercer, it was $8,950. So hopefully we'll have, a start time and a finish time. I would certainly hope we can have this done before budget time so we can look at it and try to provide some better opportunities for our employees. But that being said, if it's okay with the administrative committee, we'll just hear from Tammy and
Sounds good.
vote on that.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'd like to make a comment. if
Yes,
you
sir.
don't mind.
Yes, sir.
I know you have been calling for this for a long time, and it wasn't until I read the breadth and the depth and the different analyses that are going to take place, not only just who's getting paid what, but the whole job description, the structure of this, that, and the other. I mean, it's going to be a valuable addition to our policy and procedures, I believe. And thank you for staying with it.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the joint venture agreement with the Taylor Theater property that we have. I guess before I get started with this, has the group has raised the money, I'm assuming, been done?
That is correct, yes,
Done.
that is
Okay,
correct.
Good,
So
that's absolutely
we
great.
got it in the bank.
Got it in the bank,
So-
good,
I mean, it's not done, the building's not closed
Right,
yet,
right.
but we're working on that.
sure. So, what we are being asked to do is have a proposal with Ryan and Belinda Respis, who have been trained by the company that the equipment came from, that will be between them and the town and the community, I guess, since the town owns the property. We need to go into a lease with them, so if that's okay with
Sounds
the
fine.
administrative committee, we'll send that on also.
Can I just add, Councilman, that Bud Powell and I met with Belinda and Ryan, and Jennifer was part of that meeting, and others were too, and really, really impressed with their plan, with their knowledge of the movie business, and also with their knowledge, especially Ryan's, of the equipment and the care that he will give to the community's equipment. I feel like the equipment will be extremely well cared for, and that's, $150,000 worth of equipment that was raised privately by citizens, and I feel like it's going to be in very, very good hands, so appreciate the council considering that.
And they were actually married there, and they put a presentation on that is unbelievable. I mean, he's able to do all the electrical. I mean, he's just able to handle it, and they've got great new ideas. And I can't let a moment like this pass without thanking Jennifer and Anne Marie both for all they did to make this work. So without our great Destination Downtown team, this would have never happened. And it was really remarkable to watch the citizens of Edenton come together and donate that amazing amount of money in that shorter time to make sure that everybody in this community has the ability to see a movie, because it's a long way to go to a movie now outside of Edenton, and so there are not many small towns with movie theaters, and I think that the community saw a need and the community responded. So it's not a done deal yet, but that thing's gonna get fixed up. It's gonna look great, and it'd be a safe place to have great entertainment.
Good deal.
So.
And they were very, very impressive with their presentation tonight that they had the meeting at a college hire. They were very impressive with their presentation.
Well, that is great. Look forward to it reopening.
Hopefully January 30th. That's sometime around that day.
That's moving. Okay, and the last item on our agenda tonight is Councilman Quinn and Councilwoman Simpson are leaving us. They have each expressed interest in buying their iPads that they have had for quite a while now. Surprising that they've lasted this long, but they'd like to purchase those, and according to the manager, it'll be easier for her to start fresh with new iPads for the new council members. So I will leave Councilwoman Simpson out of this. Councilman, if it's okay with you, we will send that on to the full council to sell them to them for $50.
Sound like a good idea.
Okay. Since she will be part of one of the ones purchasing. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
That's all we have for tonight.
Okay, thank you. Next we'll hear from our Utilities Committee, chaired by Councilman Quinn, please, sir.
Thank you. We only have one item, and it's basically the extension of an existing lease on property at the airport. This would be an extension. Were two extensions in the original document, the original lease, and this is number 2 of the extensions, or the first of the extensions, actually. So I'd like to pass that forward.
Okay. Does your committee concur?
I concur.
Okay, good. All right. Thank you very much, and we'll move now to our finance committee meeting. That's going to be chaired by Councilman Dixon, please.
We have one thing on, is sending Councilman-elect Miller and Councilman-elect Rasko Poole to the UNC School of Government for newly elected officials. I'm sure you'll both enjoy being in Chapel Hill. What such a wonderful place for you to go.
Greenville.
Oh, is it not? Is it Greenville? Okay, I thought it was in
They
Chapel
chose
Hill.
the one closer to
Oh,
home.
okay, well, you should, you know, next time go to Chapel Hill, we'll pay the extra mileage. Anyway, I'm just joking. But, so anyway, I'll put that in the form of a motion. We'll send them,
Sound good?
All right, we'll send that on up as well. And that completes our agenda for this evening, so thank y'all very much.